Hi everyone, welcome back to Mom's SST Shiksha. Hope everybody is doing well. Exams are almost closed for the 25-26 batch. Hope revision is complete. Today's chapter, Agriculture. So before going into the lesson, here's a summary for the chapter Agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone of India's economy, providing food, raw materials, employment and supporting industries. Different types of farming are practiced in India, from primitive and subsistence farming to commercial and plantation agriculture. Cropping season in India include Kharif, Rabi and Zaid, with different crops grown in each season. India grows a variety of major crops such as rice, wheat, pulses, oilseeds, tea, coffee, cotton and sugarcane. This chapter also discusses technological and institutional reforms that improve productivity and challenges faced by Indian agriculture. So here we are, page 30. You have two questions. Note on primitive subsistence farming and different names for jumming. Now both are board questions, so please pay attention. The question on jumming will either be a one marker or an MCQ asking you, for example, what is another name for jumming in Mexico, or what is another name for jumming in Vietnam, etc. So both board questions, pay attention. On page 31, two more questions. Note on intensive subsistence farming, which is a board question, and note on commercial farming, which is also a board question. I have put in three objectives here. Rice is a commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab, but a subsistence crop in Odisha. Some important plantation crops have been listed, and plantation crop in Assam and West Bengal is tea, and that in Karnataka is coffee. So before we discuss the cropping season in India on page 32, I just want to add that for the Zaid cropping season, this is the only information that's available in the textbook. In case you want to add the harvest and the areas, then you will have to look online and fill in the information for that. Another point to note is the chapter agriculture is very small compared to the chapter of the previous years. So this is all the information that's available in your textbook. So once again, the cropping season in India, I have given you the cropping season, the harvest, the crops and the areas. I've also given you some acronyms to make it a little bit easier to remember the areas for the Rabi and Kharif. At this point in your revision, you should already have your own methodology of learning these. But I have given you an acronym just to make it slightly simpler for those who find it difficult to remember. Okay, on page 32, here we have two objectives. Paddy has recently become an important crop of Punjab and Haryana. And the second one, in Assam, West Bengal and Odisha, 3 crops of paddy are grown in the year. And they are the Os, the Aman and the Boro. So once again, these are little bits of information that we tend to overlook when we are reading or learning. Please make sure that you're writing this either in a separate notebook or put it on a poster that you can stick in your textbook, or simply write it in your textbook. The choice is yours. Now we come to one of the most important areas of this chapter, the major crops. So the first one is rice. It is a board question. I have given you the cropping season, the type of soil, the conditions it requires, and where rice is grown all over India. I have also highlighted some features. Make sure you know this because rice is a repeated board question in the exams. So next one is wheat on page 33. Again, board question. Rice and wheat seem to be the favorite for board exams. So two very important things. Of course, you have to learn everything, but I have seen rice and wheat repeatedly in many board papers. So once again, I have given you the cropping season, the type of soil, the condition it's grown in, and where all wheat is grown all over India. Highlighted the features. We have maize on page 34, the same thing, the cropping season, etc. I have given you the features. Please make note. So on page 34, we have millets, and it's following the same format, the cropping season, the type of soil, etc. Features have been given. Kindly make note of the same. So on page 36, we have pulses, which is a board question. Please make note of the details. And now we come to the second part, food crops other than grains. The first one is sugarcane. Please make note of all the details. On page 36, we have oil seeds with its details. On page 36 and 37, we have tea. Very important board question, pay attention. On page 37, we have coffee. There isn't much information again in the textbook about coffee, about the cropping season, the type of soil it requires, etc. Just the features have been given, which I have listed them. On page 38, we have two questions, note on horticulture crops and on rubber. Please mark it in your textbook as shown. On page 38, we have a note on cotton and jute, and we have one objective. Cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk are four major fiber crops grown in India. However, cotton, jute and hemp are grown in soil, and natural silk comes from the cocoons of the silkworms that are fed on mulberry leaves. On page 38, we have two objectives. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture, and agriculture provides livelihood for more than 60% of its population. Another question on page 38 that continues on page 39 is, mention some of the institutional reforms introduced after independence, or what are the agricultural reforms introduced by the government? And our last question on page 39 is note on Budan, Gramdan. Please make note. Here is a list of the board questions that I found during my research. In case you have found any other questions, please add them to your question bank. All this will come handy for revision just before your board exams. Like I mentioned, this chapter has been condensed so much. A lot of portion has been deleted as compared to the previous years, and therefore these were the relevant questions that I've added to the bank. And now a final word from me. All NCERT questions from the textbook must be attempted. Also practice your assertion reasoning and MCQs, because mistakes tend to happen here and you will simply lose that 1 mark because of lack of practice. This is a map based chapter, so make sure you know where your crops are growing all over India. Get a blank map and mark it and keep it for your final revision. Make sure that you study the maps properly because it is scoring. You will get full marks if you do it right. That's all from me. Take care, everybody. Happy studying.